up in the sky. It's a bird.
It's a plane.
It's Superman. Yes, it's Superman.
Hey, page turners. A few weeks back, I was out on eBay checking out comic books, of course, and I saw that there was a Captain Canuck comic for sale, and that brought back some memories back in the day. I have about 7 Captain Canuck comics. I got number 3 early on, and then later I think I had a run of 10 through 14 is what it was. I thought, hey, it'd be cool to get a Captain Canuck number 1. So I did some checking, I did some searching, and then I found out that Canada had actually made a Captain Canuck stamp. And so I checked into that a little bit deeper and found out that there was a 5 stamp set, and 4 of the stamps were Canadian heroes. And then the 5th stamp was Superman. And that kind of piqued my interest. It's like, well, how does he get in with these other 4 Canadian heroes? I know he's popular. So I did a little digging and actually learned a few things about Canadian heroes. So I know that the USA they've issued 2 Superman stamps over time. One was in 1998. That was a 32-cent stamp, and that was like the 60th anniversary of Superman, of his first appearance, 1938 to 1998, 60 years. Back in 1998, my mother-in-law, bless her soul, she bought this for me. It is a collection of kind of comic books that have a set of stamps with each one of them, and it's like 100 years of stamp collecting in America. So one of these comic books came out once a month throughout the year 1998. So at the end of the year in 1999, you had the 100 years. Each comic covered 10 years of stamps in America. So the 1930s stamp album, 1930 to 1939, you got 12 of these type of comic books. Not great artwork, but it tells a little bit about stamp collecting, that kind of thing. So at the end of the year, you got 12. But for the 1930 to 1939 comic, guess who shows up? These are actually stamps. It's not just a photo. Superman. That's the 1998 32-cent postage stamp of Superman. Okay, so I have that one, and then in 2005 they issued a full sheet of DC superheroes, and I have that too. Actually, my wife got me that one, and it's this right here, which is kind of cool. And there's the Superman stamp right there. Now we're talking, in 2005, we're talking 39 cents. And that's pretty cool. It's like an opportunity to put a little piece of artwork on each stamp. Good size stamps. So there's a second Superman stamp right there. So there's 2 Superman stamps in this sheet of stamps from 2005. The cover of Superman number 11. So you got that, and a side note on the back, because my plan was to swap these out every so often. The next year, 2006, they came out with a sheet of Marvel superhero stamps. So anyway, so you've got the 2 Superman stamps in 2005. Now, USA and Canada are not the only 2 countries that have issued Superman stamps. I believe it's pronounced Kyrgyzstan. They issued 9 Superman stamps in the year 2000. Portugal issued 4 commemorative stamps in 2020, and in Germany, the Deutsche Post issued a Superman stamp in 2025. After doing some more research, I realized that the 5 stamps where Superman was the 5th stamp was actually, it was the it was Canadian talent that had created those superheroes. So Canadian creators. And I'm thinking, well, wait a minute. Wasn't that Superman creators? That's Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster, right? In Cleveland, Ohio, when they were 17 years old. So where's the missing Canadian in that? Well, it turns out that Joe Shuster was born in Toronto, Canada, and his family moved him here to Cleveland when he was 9 years old. And then when he was 17, he was buddies with Jerry Siegel. And I think there's some family relationship as well, maybe a cousin or something. And the two of them created Superman. And then in 1933, in 1938, finally, somebody was willing to print their stories, and the rest is history, obviously. That's where the Canadian connection comes in for this Superman stamp. So let me tell you about some of the other superheroes on the Canadian superheroes. All you Canadians out there, I know this is history for you, but it was something new for me. The earliest creation in that stamp was 1941, was Nelvana of the Northern Lights. That was the first Canadian superhero, and she actually predates Wonder Woman by a few months. She came out in August of '41, and Wonder Woman came out in December of the same year. The creator was Adrian Dingle, who he was born in Northern Wales, and then he got moved to Toronto when he was 3. And the Nelvana story is inspired by the Inuk mythology. She's the daughter of the king of the Northern Lights. During World War II, she protected Canada from Nazis and spies and everything else. So that's Nelvana, that's one of the stamps. The next stamp was Johnny Canuck, which was more your basic World War II hero. He didn't really have any superpowers, but I guess he had a lot of action in his life. He debuted in Dime Comics #1 in 1942. He also fought Nazis, and he met Adolf Hitler in his first story. He was created by Leo Backel, who was born in Toronto. And then the fourth character was Captain Canuck, created by Richard Cumley and Ron Leishman in 1975. And that's when I started. Back when they were on the stand, you couldn't order them. No comic book stores. You either found it on the rack or you were out of luck. So in 1975, I managed to get issue #3, and then I didn't see it again on the rack until I think like #10. Captain Canucks, he was actually Tom Evans. He met up with some extraterrestrials, and at the end of that, he had superhuman strength. And he served as a secret agent for the Canadian International Security Organization, CISO. And the fourth character, Canadian character, was Fleur de Lis, a superheroine created in 1984 by Mark Shaneblum and Gabriel Morissetti. They were both from Montreal, Quebec. And Fleur de Lis debuted in New Triumph Comics. Her secret identity was a martial artist expert, Manion Deschamps, and she pretty much did the same thing as the other superheroes, and tried to protect Canada from undesirable elements. And after only 8 connected stories, the Northgard comic, who put out the New Triumph comics, they had financial problems, and her adventures quickly came to a halt. Fast forward ahead to 2013, Canada put a second set of Superman stamps out. This was a set of, it's looking at it, it's kind of weird, a set of 5 stamps, and then it seemed like there was a single stamp, and the single stamp was actually, you can tell that the artwork is John Burns, and it's Superman doing the, dun, 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 opening up his chest to reveal his Superman emblem. And that was John Byrne, and that stamp had, on the back of the stamp, it had a little line of Kryptonese language on it, and I thought that was kind of neat. Probably a lot of people who bought that had no idea that that was supposed to be Kryptonese. So there's the set of 5 stamps plus the 6th stamp that year, 2013. The 6th stamp was John Byrne, and John Byrne, actually born in England, he lived in Canada before they came to America. So there's that set of stamps. Later on, Toronto, I gotta give Toronto credit. They were committed to Joe Shuster, their favorite son. They later on created and I couldn't find the year of when this happened, but there was a street created called Joe Shuster Way in Toronto. And the cool part of that street is when that street connects up to 2 other streets, the 2 other streets being Dufferin Street, the 2 streets being Dufferin Street and King Street, it creates the shape of Superman's chest emblem. The streets do. I thought that was kind of cool, and I thought that was pretty clever. You know, you don't usually see that in government. But not to be outdone, later on, Cleveland, Ohio created a Siegel-Schuster Tribute Plaza in 2025 to honor both Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster, and Jerry Siegel's wife, Joan Siegel, because Joan was the model for Lois Lane for Joe Shuster to draw. So there were, in that plaza, there are 3 statues: Jerry Siegel, Joan Siegel, Joe Shuster, and there's this 4th statue of Superman on a high pedestal flying away. And the 3 statues are looking at Superman fly away. And there's also the telephone booth sitting off that Superman has just flown out of, and he left his Clark Kent suit in the phone booth. We all know that he kept that suit compressed in the pocket, secret pocket of his cape. All the real fans know that. I always wondered how he uncompressed it, how he uncompressed his Clark Kent suit, because you compress that and you get a lot of wrinkles after that. But maybe he used a little heat vision, a little ultra fast smoothing out, and maybe that took care of it. It'll be interesting to see how things go forward between Canada and Canada trying to honor Joe Shuster, and America honoring Joe Shuster and Jerry Siegel. So I hope it continues, because a little bit of competition's not bad, and I think the U.S. could step up their efforts a little bit more. I did buy the strip of stamps, and there they are right there. Very colorful, nice. I like them. There's the Superman one. So you've got Fleur-de-Lis, Captain Canuck, Nelvana of the North, Johnny Canuck, and finally Superman. And I know these aren't 45 cents, but whatever relates, I guess, to the penny in the U.S. So that is the 5 stamp set that I've been talking about. Kind of neat. And I also bought the day of issue card for those. And there's a little history on the back saying what's going on, who are the stamps about. So I thought that was kind of neat. And these are relatively cheap. This was, with the shipping, this was $5. And I didn't have to wait forever either for it to come across the border. That was $5. And this, believe it or not, with the same stamps, I got that for $4.49. So not a lot of money. And I'm thinking I'm going to frame this like this with a little mat board and put some windows in there and put a frame around it. I think that'll look pretty cool. So that's a little lesson on Superman stamps between the Canada and other countries, and I hope you got something out of it. If you did, please subscribe, give me a like. I've got more stuff coming I've been buying from eBay, and I just received some golden age. I finally stepped into the golden age on eBay, and I've got those to go over. So stick with me, please subscribe, and we'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.